Welcome to Awesomeness. Today, I've got Roger Wakefield joining us to talk not only just about LinkedIn Live, which I know is a huge big deal to a lot of you. And if you want to know all about how to use LinkedIn Live strategically, a little bit about the tech, we're going to talk about that for sure. But Roger is so much more than a LinkedIn Live user. Roger Wakefield is, well, one of my favorite people in this world, and I have done you a disservice by not having him on the show before now. So Roger is a plumber, the expert plumber, and he has. I love his story because he has actually grown his business through live video, and plumbing is, no offense, Roger, but plumbing is one of the most boring topics you could ever possibly talk about online, right? Wrong. So Roger has done an amazing job growing his business. He's expanded and now does coaching and consulting about growth online. So he does it all. Roger, welcome.
Laurie, number one, thank you for being here. And I want y'all to know that's not what she said before. She said, Roger, the only reason you're booked today is I could get nobody else. So I'm going to be honest with y'all. Sorry about that.
Wow, Roger, way to throw me under the bus.
How are you, Laurie?
I'm fantastic. So do you want to tell them the story about how we first met and like the story that you were telling me before?
Absolutely. And it really, it's our second meeting, but our first meeting was at Social Media Marketing World, the first year I ever went. Lauria was one of the classes that I went into, and I was completely blown away. Remember, I went to this conference thinking I'm going to learn Facebook. I'm a plumber. I'm thinking social media. That's all I knew about, really. So I went to her session. It was phenomenal, and she talked about going live and doing things in front of the camera. And a few months later, she was actually at Video Marketing World speaking. I was there, and I stopped her. I said, look, I just want to tell you thank you. I've started doing YouTube, and I've done fairly well. And
I'm sorry.
I probably had 200 subscribers, so not really well. But
you mean at that time? Okay.
Yes, at that time.
How many subscribers do you have now?
We'll hit 240 today.
Yes,
240,000. So, I said, look, I just want to tell you thank you. I learned so much in your session. I thought it was great. I love the conference. And she looked at me and she says, well, has Michael Stelzner heard this story? And I said, no, I don't ever talk to him. She's like, sat down, and she like sits in the chair next to me, leans over on me, turns on the camera and points at it, says, hey, Michael, this is Lauria. You've got to hear this story. Go. And I'm like, hey, I'm a plumber, and started telling my story. And it was neat because when I saw Michael Stelzner and met him again, he remembered that. He said, oh my God, she did send me a video.
Michael is so amazing at people. The people aspect of his job is just, he's so good at it. Roger is very humble, and that's one of the things that I love about Roger. He is just so human, so humble, and such a good guy, but he has done an incredible amount in the last few years, and you're going to learn a ton today. So one of the things that I just love about your topic is that, well, the plumbing side of things, is that it is kind of, a boring, I put it in the boring topic kind of category, no offense, but like it is one of those things that people are like, I don't know how to create content about. So can you walk us through your business and of course the extended business as well, and kind of talk to that?
When I first went to Social Media Marketing World, it was because we had marketing companies ripping us off. We were paying them tons and tons and tons of money, and the phones literally were not ringing. And I decided that I wanted to do social media. I started talking to marketing companies here. I found out they knew nothing about it. So then what I did is I started doing research. I found an interview of Michael Stelzner. He was being interviewed by Nathan Chan from Founder Magazine. And I listened to Michael talk about the conference and how he built it and how it started and what it has grown into. And I literally knew I wanted to go to this conference, but still nothing made me jump. And I listened to this podcast interview on the treadmill one morning. About a week later, I turned it on and Gary V's on there, and he's talking, he's doing something, and he literally holds up his phone. And if y'all know Gary V, he probably said it a little bit different than I'm going to, but he says, I don't care if you're 20, 50, or 70, you can do this. So That day,
Yes.
I literally got online, found the tickets. It was a week or two before the conference, so I paid the full $1,600, whatever it is. I went, and I was blown away by the entire conference. But the big takeaway that I had, and there were really two. Number one is I needed to be doing YouTube. But the day that I went and the day that I signed up, Gloria, I showed up an hour early. I'm from Dallas. It's on the West Coast, so 8 o'clock to them is 10 o'clock to me. I showed up early. I said, look, can I go ahead and register? The doors were open. The young lady back there said, absolutely. I get registered, and she scrolls down. She's got a little iPad or whatever, and she scrolls down through it, and she says, Mr. Wakefield, there's no plumbers here. Who would you hang out with?
Oh,
And I said, electricians, roofers, HVAC techs, anybody like that? And she scrolls down her list. She says, okay, there's nobody here like you. I don't know who you're going to hang out with. And Larry, just the mindset went off. Oh my God, why aren't there people like me here? And I mean, I've had so many people tell me, Roger, I'd have picked up my stuff and left. But I just saw a great opportunity. And I met many LinkedIn people there, and I knew that I wanted to grow there. And I found a way to get involved with LinkedIn, tie YouTube to it, and just grow like crazy. And it's been great for me.
that's so awesome. And we're going to talk about mindset a little bit later because it is so important in your journey, no matter who you are, what your business is, what your content is, to invest in yourself, mindset, and education, and all of that. So that's a little extra tidbit we wanted to share with you later in this show. But let's talk about LinkedIn. So I will say this. I can't live stream on LinkedIn yet because they won't give me access. And I think it's because I teach live video, which is not is a rule that is not there yet. So I literally have never been able to stream to LinkedIn. So I'm super thrilled to have you here to talk us through all of the details. And so what do you love about LinkedIn Live specifically?
The thing about it is, and they just started doing this, you can now schedule them, which is fantastic for me because that helps us. We like to tie all our content together, meaning we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we are on TikTok, we're on Instagram. We do things in multiple platforms. And it's nice if we can kind of tie that together a little bit. But what's been great about LinkedIn for me that's really helped me out is, remember, I went to a conference to learn social media to grow my plumbing company. So I learned how to use LinkedIn, and it's really funny. One of the ladies who speaks at these big conferences about LinkedIn every year interviewed me at Social Media Marketing World in March. And we're talking about LinkedIn, and she says, so how do you use it? And I'll tell her the exact thing, or I told her the exact thing I'll tell you today, is I started reaching out to real estate agents because real estate agents can introduce me to so many customers. They represent buyers, they represent sellers that either have plumbing problems, want to make sure they don't, or things like that. So for a residential service provider, I started reaching out to real estate agents on LinkedIn and building those connections. I also told them about my YouTube channel saying, look, sometimes you have customers that have questions. I've got the answers. And it became just a phenomenal growth for me. Not just Roger as the YouTube plumber, but it started making the phones ring. Hey, Roger talked about a sewer water test. We want him to come do it. Roger talks about an inspection. What do we need to have done? I became the trusted advisor from the plumbing industry in this area for real estate agents, and it's been great for my business.
That's amazing. Honestly, that's a perfect combo. I'm not in either of those businesses, so I don't really think about that, but that is a perfect combo. So we'll talk about how you go about your strategy, but real quick on the tech side of things, you can only use RTMP through LinkedIn currently. Is that correct, or did they go API yet?
Will you speak English?
Oh.
Okay, see, you're a tech girl. I am not at all. So I will tell you this. You asked me that before, and I actually sent an email to my contact at LinkedIn because remember, LinkedIn asked me to do LinkedIn Live. And
Yes.
I was one of the first 12 people in the world. I've never applied for it. It just kind of happened. But I don't know all that stuff, and you're asking me questions first time. And look, I love this about you because you are one of the smartest, techie, intelligent women I've ever spoken to. But you talk, and I'm just like,
What? No, my apologies.
no, it's good.
So, how do you go live on LinkedIn? I should ask.
I go live. Yeah, let's start there. Okay, now I started with Switcher. Switcher
Okay.
was great because, and it's really funny because I met Mark McGath at Social Media Marketing. Or was it Social Media Marketing? I guess it was in the lower level. And I come up and I'm talking to them because we had wanted to use Switcher. And I don't even remember what we used in the very beginning, but I guess we did. We did Switcher. And I show up and I'm standing there and I'm asking them questions. And Mark was busy. So I spoke with another young lady. And finally, Mark finished. I said, "Hey, Mark," I said, "Man, I'd like to talk to you." And he's looking at me funny. And I said, "Look, I'm Roger Wakefield. I do LinkedIn Live." And he looked at me and said, "Oh my God." He said, "I know everybody who does LinkedIn Live. I've never heard of you. Who are you?" and number two, why in the heck did they ask you to do LinkedIn Live? It's like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's the thing about Roger. He just like everybody wants him.
Oh God, it was crazy. But I mean, and I have conversations like that, and I remember them forever. It's like, look, nobody knows you. Why did they ask you to do LinkedIn Live? I have no idea. We started with Switcher. Now we use God. What did I tell you earlier? We use. Look over here.
I think you're currently using
Restream.
You're
OBS.
using OBS and Restream.
Yes.
And by the way, guys, those of you who are ECAMM users, LinkedIn Live is coming very soon. Access direct integration to LinkedIn Live from ECAMM, so that's great. But yeah, okay, so you're using OBS, and then we're gonna get you on ECAMM. That's my new mission.
We are.
We are.
And it's not hard to do. I've spoken for ECAMM at the virtual conference. I
Yeah.
love their product.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your stuff? I pulled you up the other day and said, "Guys, look at what she does. This is beautiful."
Why, thank
Yes.
you. Okay, so then you're doing that. Walk us through the tech that's in your studio from a brief overview, because people want to know.
No, I love that. Brief overview. We've got a couple of really nice computers in here. One we're not even using right now. I'm going to use it as my computer because I've got another studio set up that we're getting started. But we've got a computer. We just rebuilt our table, and I built this entire studio myself from watching you, from watching other people, and say, okay, look, I can do this. I've got two monitors right now. I've got two Sony. I've got a Sony A3, a Sony AR3 or A3R. I've got a Stream Deck right here in front of me, and I slid it out of reach. I don't know where I put it. I just bought the ECAMM Mini Pro, and I'm wanting to start using it. We've got 4 microphones like this. We actually designed our table, and this was a great design by Will, so that we could have 5 people around here. Eventually, I'm wanting to interview other people and do different things, but we're also setting this up. I've got another YouTube channel, How to Network, I do with Julie, and what we're talking about, I just put this stand on wheels the other day. I can turn it and slide it over this way. Now we've got a completely separate corner here that we can use as a completely separate background.
Love it. And I love the background, but you also like have not only solo, you also bring on your wife a lot as well. Mm-hmm. And the other guests. Yeah.
Yes, I bring her on. And actually during LinkedIn Live, which we did today, I've got my CSR, my customer service representative. She's at the front desk. I bring her in here on Thursdays, and it's great because she's the one who gets asked all the plumbing questions all the time. So it's great to have her in if we want to talk plumbing or growing business and training plumbers. Julie comes in on Tuesdays. Julie helps train the plumbers. Julie is an etiquette and protocol consultant. So she teaches people how to act in front of customers, how to go to formal dinners, how to do things for big corporations when they want to go out and entertain customers. So if you look at how a etiquette and protocol consultant married a plumber, I pulled off a smooth one.
Okay, so going back to the strategy, and guys, if you have questions, we're going to take Q&A shortly. But put a cue in front of your questions so that the team can gather those up for us. So going back to the strategy, you connected with the real estate agents. Walk me through your entire strategy using specifically live video, LinkedIn or otherwise, it doesn't really matter. And how you have seen so much growth, because you're using LinkedIn Live, you're growing your YouTube channel. How are you connecting everything behind the scenes in that overall strategy?
In the overall strategy, it literally started out, like I said, on LinkedIn, we connected with real estate agents. And if you use LinkedIn the right way, you can go in and search real estate agent, click on people, then you can click on location. You can even click companies. So say I only wanted to connect with Keller Williams real estate agents in the Dallas area. I can fine tune that down and I can go through and put in a message. Hey, I'm Roger Wakefield. I am a plumber on YouTube and we own a company here in the Dallas area. We believe in taking care of our customers first. And the one thing that I always tell real estate agents when we're out networking is your customers will love me more than they love you because I'm going to go above and beyond to take care of them in everything I do. And we started doing that because a painter used to refer us a lot. I mean, he still does. But when he first started referring us, he literally called me one day. He says, Roger, I've referred 4 customers to you. Every one of them have called and told me they love you. What are you doing? And I said, man, we communicate with them. We're upfront. We're honest. We don't BS them. We tell them what they need. We give them options. This is what will fix it right now. This is what is the right thing to do. And if you really want the gold-plated version, this is it. And we let them make that option. We're not trying to sell them. We're trying to let them make the most educated decision. So that's where we got that line. So we started using it as we reached out to real estate agents to grow. Then we would every now and then send them videos. Look, we just made a video that every new home buyer should see. We made a new video that every home seller should see. There's a thing in Texas called a hydrostatic test. And it's really not a hydrostatic test because you don't use a hydrostatic pump, so you don't build the pressure. But one of the big real estate companies here in Dallas had it in their contract, if a plumber does this test, he has to agree to make any repairs that he causes under the house. And I called their attorney and said, hey, I'm just going to tell you from now on, anytime I go to a house and it's y'all's, I'm just going to tell the buyers, don't buy it. There's probably a leak under it, and y'all won't let us test it. So I went to great depth of conversation with their attorneys. Finally, they reworded their contract. So it's just learning how to communicate and putting the information out there and bringing value to people, which I learned from you the first time I met you. Always bring value to people. And at the time, I was trying to bring that value to real estate agents.
You're coming from a service-based place. A lot of people in your position that, quote unquote boring. I just keep saying that because, there are a ton of people in this world who stall using these things because they don't know how to, and they go into it feeling like, well, I just need to pitch or I just need to sell my product or service. And you're a perfect example of coming at it from a service-based place. You're creating the right content that people want and need to hear. But you're also, what I heard you say, and you didn't say it outright, you're also taking that video that you're releasing on YouTube, I assume, and on uploading on LinkedIn, right? And okay.
Yeah, we either do that or we'll put the thumbnail or we'll put a snippet in it. Now remember, LinkedIn wants you to keep people on LinkedIn, so we don't just upload the video there. We don't just put the link in and say, here it is. What we do is we'll put the thumbnail or we'll take a snippet of it and then say, look, to see the whole video, go here.
Yeah.
And we can do that on every platform because then it's in the comments, it's not the link, so the algorithm doesn't want to bury it.
Right. So that's brilliant. And then what you're doing is then, did I hear you saying that you're taking that video and then like DMing people who you've built a relationship with to let them know, hey, your audience needs to hear this. That takes some extra work, Roger. What are you thinking?
I thought I had to make a business grow. And it's funny, the first conference, and this is part of my longer story, but literally I'll go to this conference to learn how to make my phone grow or make my business grow.
Okay, I was going to say, I want to hear that.
My phone is going to get bigger. So I'm in one of the sessions and my phone is blowing up. And I walk out in the hall, and it's my wife. And she literally said, Roger, we're not going to be in business when you get back. Now, think about that. This is the first conference I've gone to learn social media. I'm spending money that I know we don't have because business is tight, because the phones aren't ringing. And she literally says, look, we're not going to make it. So I walk back in, and I'm like, look, I'm going to master social media in these 3 days. And I had to leave early. I didn't get to stay for the keynote speaker. On the way home on the plane, I've got notes spread out across 2 fold-down trays. There's nobody in the seat next to me. I've got my iPad, my computer, and I'm going through notes for 3 days. I came up with a plan, and this is something we're going to talk about more in a minute, but my mindset was I have to implement this right now, and that's what made the difference.
That's amazing. Relationships. If you come at it for, like, obviously you had pressure behind you from that story, and that will make us do amazing things. But also, can we talk about where you are in your business and where you're about to go?
We can talk about anything you want to talk about.
So you're about to hit 7 figures, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you're at a place where you're not coming at it from that pressure situation. And yet still he is focused on relationships, value, and just being there to connect with people. And so I really, really, really wanted to harp on that just a bit because, that's what I believe as well. And so I love how you do that.
And let me explain something, because I don't want people to get a misconception.
Okay.
The plumbing company already does 7 figures.
Right.
On social media, we're fixing to hit 7 figures through AdSense, through sponsors, through different things like that. And look, Loria, I was sitting in a session with you 2 years and 8 months ago and knew nothing. Mm-hmm. You're talking about live. I'm like, wait, how did she spell camera? I'm going to need to get one. And it's like, okay, this is all new to me. Everything about it is brand new. And look what I've done in 2 years and 8 months. And it's from learning from people like you. Your course is phenomenal. I still go back and look at so much of it because I learn new things every time I listen.
That's awesome. Okay, so you have the plumbing business, you have the social media side, the consulting, you would do courses consulting. Like, what all do you do on that side? At RogerWakefield.com?
And there's stuff to it, but what it is I teach people to grow their business. Number one, grow their network. Most residential service companies don't know how to get out and network. Number two, relate socially. Learn how to use social media to relate to people, to engage with people.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't do that. The O is for own video. Own it. Learn how to own video and get in front of your clients using that. And W, words are the key. And if you can, one of the first things that I heard at Social Media Marketing World that first year, and I don't remember who it was, but there were a few people that said, you cannot use YouTube to grow a local business.
What?
And I'm telling you. And I was like, I don't remember. And I wish I did, but I had wrote it in my notes, but I thought, I'm going to find a way to do this and do something different. But think about what it is. The videos that we make are worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay. And the neat thing about it is I can go into, and I tell people this whenever I teach and consult or do sessions, anybody in the world right now can go to YouTube and just search the word plumbing. They find me.
Yes.
That helps because it leads those people to our website, which helps my domain authority, which helps me grow locally.
Yes.
And when I DM people with those videos, that helps me locally because I have a place that they can go to and direct their buyers and sellers to. So it's been phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. So from a conversation standpoint, because you do have the growing business side of your business where you help people do that, and you have the plumbing, those two things they do mesh, but they don't really mesh in terms of content. So how are you connecting those two things and communicating that with your plumbing audience, or do you? And I assume you do because you're helping them grow their business. So how does that all work for you?
When we first started building the channel, It was literally to teach people how to fix their own plumbing, DIY.
Right.
And that's great because a lot of people need to know how to fix this. Then we started realizing.
And then if it's me, I'm just going to be like, I don't want to do that. Hire you.
Call Roger, you bet. Or, hey, Roger, do you have a guy here?
Yeah.
And we get those calls all the time.
Oh, I bet.
So the neat thing about it is we started building the channel based on DIY plumbing. Can I teach you how to fix things? Because I can. And there's a lot of things people can fix. There's a lot of things people can't fix. And there's a lot of women that send me messages say, oh my gosh, I watched your video and I thought I could never do this. But then when I called the plumber and found out how much it was, I did it on 3 of my toilets and you saved me $1,000. So it's really neat. What the cool thing about it is we started paying attention to our analytics. We started watching our numbers. We started reading the comments. We started engaging and asking the viewer, what do you want to see more of? Well, I'd really like to learn how you do this. How do you install a shower pan? Maybe things that a homeowner may not do. I want to learn what kind of tools you use, what kind of software do you use, how do you study? And we started realizing we've got more plumbers watching our channel than we do DIYers. They're learning a lot of the same thing, but you've got to listen to what your audience is asking you for or talking to you about. So we did that. So that's when the channel went from Texas Green Plumbing to Roger Wakefield, to the Expert Plumber. I had won a contest through American Standard. They were looking for the next expert plumber. I won their plumber know-how contest. I've got 8 or 9 videos that American Standard shot that I did for them that's on American Standard's YouTube channel. When it came time for that contract to renew, I wanted to help them grow, but I wanted some creative input. I'd been looking at YouTube. I had some great ideas, and they were like, look, we want to focus on us. If you want to focus on you, go do it. And I did. And thank God I did, because it's been good for me.
That's so good. Like, you guys listen to your audience.
It's huge. Well, and then again, we did one more time because, Loria, we started watching and reading, and it's like, look, we get a lot of electricians, HVAC techs, roofers, landscapers, pool builders. So that's when we went from the Expert Plumber to Roger Wakefield, because I've been in all the trades. I know all the trades. I can talk about all of them. And the things we teach are how to get better. That's a skill it's a mindset. It's not just a hands-on skill. It's not how to use a torch better. Right. It's how to think about the process better.
And then before I ask the next question, that's something that you guys at Live Streaming Pros and on the ECAMM side of things as well, we have been doing here at Live Streaming Pros is listening to you so much over 2020 so that I can give you what you're looking for. That's why I brought Roger on, because I'm listening to you. That's why I, make small change. They may be small changes or adjustments in our programs or on the content side of things, but sometimes you go large in terms of the changes like Roger did, like who you're speaking to. So you just got to pay attention to what's happening. And that is such an important part of growth and adjusting over time, because we all do. Now, so you're, I lost the question. Darn it.
well, while you're thinking about the question,
yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, Anthony Mastretta's in here. And yes, we do work with big boys. It's not box stores. We actually signed our first sponsorship agreement with the largest plumbing supply company in the world this year. Yay. And man, that's part of the revenue and the income that lets us do the things we do.
And another question about income, do you have a referral network of plumbers for additional stream?
I do. It's one that we're working on right now.
Okay.
I'm involved with a new group called Directory it's great because they started out as roofers, and when I spoke at their conference about social media, they're like, look, we want to branch into plumbing, and oh my God, your story is right on point with ours. So it's been fantastic.
I'm glad you told me that was the biggest company in the plumbing industry, because I had
plumbing
no idea
supply.
What that was. Oh, plumbing supply.
Yes.
Okay.
Plumbing supply. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Somebody said Ferguson is good stuff, and I'm like, everybody knows but me.
It's a great thing. And you can go to ferguson.com and get whatever you need for your house, Loria.
Hey, it's 800 square foot. I don't really need much. But here, the question I was going to ask was, now that you're talking to, plumbers, and instead of DIYers, now you're talking to them, how do you have call to actions about your grow your business? Like, do you call to action over to it, or do you that's what I'm trying to get to, is how you move people from one platform to another, not platform, but business.
Well, that's where I'm starting education. That's where I'm learning to do that now.
Perfect segue.
I've never done it. It's funny, you can go back and watch any of my videos. I never tell people to call Texas Green Plumbing. I never tell people to call me. I never tell people, look, I'm the guy that can coach you and help you with this.
Whoa.
I want to keep bringing value.
Wow. Hold on. You never did that?
No.
It just came because you were valuable.
You bet, because I never try to sell to people.
Yeah.
Whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube, I don't. And I mean, people can go back and watch any of my videos. I never say, hey, call me. Hey, it's Texas Green Plumbing. The link's below. Whenever I started in my office on the other side, I did have a banner up in the wall that said Texas Green Plumbing, and it had the website. I don't even know if it had the phone number on it. But I mean, I get calls from around the world saying, hey, we saw you on YouTube. If you bring people value, they're going to find you.
Mm-hmm. They will. That's so well said. Everybody's like, I love it. Bring value. Go. Ron.
I'll be Ron. I don't care. It starts with an R. I can handle it.
I think they were actually having a separate conversation. But okay, so you were segueing into now that's how you actually kind of learn how to do so, because that hasn't been something that you've done in the past. So walk me through what you're doing there.
You're familiar with Pete Vargas. He spoke at Social Media Marketing World the year that I met you. When I went to his session, it blew me away. And I'm one of these people, I mean, I'm a big, rough, tough plumber guy. If you'd have seen me about 12, 13 years ago, I had hair down to my waist, rode a Harley. I used to be a hairstylist. So, I mean, it's just me. And I'm sitting in Pete Vargas' session, and he starts telling his story about his father and growing up in Hereford, Texas, or growing up in Texas outside of Dallas. He had a job offer in Hereford, Texas, and Dallas. He took Hereford because it was with the church, it was with children, it was things he wanted to do. And Lori, I'm sitting on the front row listening to him speak, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm not going to let him make me cry. Because his story is so touching that you're just like, oh my gosh. And he demonstrates his path for his conversation, the heart, the head, the hand, and the heart.
Yeah.
And I'm literally thinking, okay, I've never had anybody tell me how to speak to people. I've never had anybody, and I don't mean speak to people like talk to people. I just mean when you're on a stage in front of people, when you're on a YouTube camera or on a YouTube channel in front of people, you speak to people. Mm-hmm. And you speak to them the right way, and you can get a desired outcome. What I had to learn is how to do that. So I studied that then. I went through one of his online courses, and then 2 months ago, I signed up for all 3 of his power courses, have done all 3 of those. That has blown me away. Pat Quinn and Pete Vargas are the 2 head guys in it. Pat Quinn is an amazing speaker coach, and I have learned so much. But I also started doing high-performance coaching through Brendan Bouchard for myself, and I just signed up for his mastermind to teach me marketing, because as a plumber, it's something I know nothing about.
Love that. And that's, a lot of people do get the free training on YouTube and all of this. It's something that Roger and I were talking about before we started this show. Both of us have really invested into coaching programs, into ourselves, but also our business, and seeing tremendous growth from just that. And that's not something that everybody is willing to do. And so it's just such an important part of growing your business, being willing to invest, to take that time out of your busy schedule. In our Streamer Accelerator group this morning, somebody asked me, how do you stay productive? You're doing so many different things. And yeah, I am doing so many different things. I'm a busy, busy person, as we all are, blah, 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 right? But I also take time. I take a dedicated day of the each quarter to go to an intensive program. I take a day of the month to do a mastermind. Like I take that time out of that schedule so that I can fuel this and understand what I'm not doing just yet, because we don't know what we don't know. You know the phrase, you say it.
No, that's it.
Okay.
We don't know what we don't know. And think about that, about people like me. And that's why, I can tell you, anybody in the chat can do what I'm doing. Anybody.
Yes.
I'm a plumber. And when I walked into, I'll tell you how bad it was. I walked into their leave session. That's where I learned about YouTube. I was walking down the corridor. I'm thinking I'm going to a Facebook session, and I see a placard outside that says, "Get in front of your customers using video." Well, I see this, and don't get me wrong, I had a YouTube channel. We had 2 or 3 videos on it, marketing type videos. And I thought, you know what, man, we could do videos, never thinking that I would be the guy in front of the camera. I go in, I sat down. You've seen me at conferences. I sat on the front row, and I open my notepad, and Daryl Eves gets up and he says, "Okay, YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine in the world." And I shut my book, because I'm like, he has no idea what he's talking about. YouTube is just where I store my videos. And I turn around to get up, Loria, and the room is full. So I turned back around and I thought, I'm not getting up and walking out of a room like this. And the next words he says is, "And it's owned by the largest search engine in the world, which is Google." So I started taking notes like crazy. It works. And about me being a plumber, this year or last year at Social Media Marketing World, Michael Stelzner talked about me for about 5 minutes during his keynote. And the one thing he said when he started that I will never forget, he says, "Look, I got to tell y'all, there's nothing sexy, exciting, or fun about plumbing. But let me introduce you to Roger Wakefield." And you can take anything you do and make it entertaining for people. You can have fun. When I get covered in mud or something or whatever, because it happens, you know what? There's nothing my plumbing at home can't take off of me. It's all going to be good. So I do love it. And anybody here can do it. And that's what I always tell people.
And this is a perfect time to talk about being uniquely you, because Roger is a quiet man. Like he's not an overt personality, yet at the same time, he is way big of a personality. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It does. I've been told that when I walk into a room, I'm like larger than life. And I'm like, no, really, it's just me.
But he's not loud. He's not flashy. He's not somebody he is not. And that comes out so strong. And so this is a perfect opportunity to talk about that and just embracing your personality, where you're not trying to be that YouTube personality or that, crazy plumber who is going to show you the ways. Like, did you struggle with that at first?
You know what? I really didn't, because Loria, I've never tried to be different. I'm me. And it was really funny because when I got asked to speak at VidCon, literally I'm at a youth church retreat in Eastern Kentucky, and I get a email, and it's from my contact at LinkedIn, and it said, "Roger, would you like to speak at VidCon about LinkedIn?" And I literally had to call Jeremy Vest, and I'm like, "Jeremy, what is VidCon?" And he says, "Why?" I said, "Well, I've been asked to speak there. What do I do?" He said, "You say yes." He said, "I don't care if you can't afford to go, you go."
Yes. I've done that many times where it's just like, yes.
Yes. So I went and spoke at VidCon. And when I got off stage, we did a Q&A and people could come up and talk. And this guy walked up and says, "Roger, I don't know if you remember me." I said, "Yeah, we talked 2 days ago." He said, "Yeah." We had talked in the hallway. He asked me a question. He saw my shirt, I thought. He says, "Roger, I've seen your videos. I've talked to you in hall. and I've watched you on stage. You're the same guy everywhere. And I just looked at him and said, oh my God, I wouldn't know how to be anybody else. I would not know how to pull that off. I couldn't do it. And I love that. I remember the first time I saw your Uniquely You, I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool. Because that's really what it is.
Thanks. And
You're
I'm so glad we're going to have to dive deeper into that conversation on Uniquely You and the podcast and everything. I'm baiting you into saying yes.
Anything for you, girl.
But yeah, so it's such a powerful thing when you fully embrace you and just who you are. And I, like I said at the beginning of this, like I just adore Roger, and I would do anything for him as well. Like that's what your personality attracts, is that kind of loyalty. And I'm saying to anybody, you, yes, but like anybody, when you embrace you, you attract that loyalty. Okay, so we have tons of questions. I want to get to these. I like that very calming presence. Yes, for sure, right? One other thing, I learned something about you that, well, I knew it already, but I learned something that we have in common by your story, by your story of sitting up front. That's also something I do at conferences or anything I'm doing. If I'm going to show up, I am going to show up, and I'm going to sit at the front, and I'm going to take notes, and I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to turn my phone off. Like, talk to me about why you sit up front. That's something I've always done. And I remember Michael Hyatt, when I sat up front at the Best Year Ever, the first time I went to the Best Year Ever conference, I was like right there up front in the middle, right there to pay attention and consume it all. And he messaged me afterwards. He was like, that shocked me. Like, everybody tends to sit in the back, but you got to go all in.
Do you know why you sat on front? Because I know exactly why I do.
I just want to be focused. Like, I don't want to see other people.
I'm ADD, ADHD.
Oh, okay.
I am like anything that moves, I've got to see what it is.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I don't know why, but I mean, I used to do concert security here. Even I mean, I was a superintendent at one of the largest mechanical contractors in Dallas. I've done concert securities, or did at the time, for like 4 or 5 years. So I'm one of these people, I am continuously watching everybody in the room. If anything's going to go down, I'm going to normally know about it before it happens, or where it's going to come from, who it's going to be, because I'll continuously watch everything. When I'm on the front row, there are no distractions. When I'm sitting on the front row, and I mean, literally, I still remember social media marketing world, looking up at you, looking at the presentation, and there's nothing moving. I see you. I am all in with everything I've got. I'm taking notes. I'm taking pictures, whatever it is. And it's the same thing with Daryl or whoever. I love the front row. There's no distraction. I am 100% focused. I don't go to conferences to hang out and visit and meet people. I go to learn. And when I want to learn, it's everything in the world to me. And I think it's great because that's how we get better, by educating ourselves, feeding our minds.
Yes. And it's so interesting that you're ADHD or ADD. Regardless.
Yeah, which I don't even know. I've never been diagnosed. I just know I'm like squirrel. And somebody put it in there. I have a squirrel head swivel. Yes, squirrel.
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up because, funny.
Okay, so my wife gave me that. So I set it on my desk because I used to. Now I put it here, I've got to quit chasing squirrels.
Yes.
I will get lost in a rabbit hole.
Yeah. So the reason I found that interesting is because today on my coaching call, which was just a mind-blowing, incredible coaching call, is somebody brought up, like, actually the person who asked about productivity was asking about how, like, was saying like he has ADHD and and I said, embrace your brain. Like that, when you can, though this is totally off topic, but when you can embrace your brain and how it operates, you're going to find so much more success. And that's exactly what you've done there, where you're embracing the way your brain works, working with it and finding solutions to use it to its advantage. Because when you are ADHD, you're paying attention to everything going on. And if the only thing going on is the person on stage, then you're embracing the way your brain works, which I love. I love, I love, I love. Oh,
And
yeah.
I love that you see it like that, because if I'm on the back row, I cannot even tell you who was on stage.
Yeah.
It's like, man, there were 80 million things going. Did he ever start talking or not? I never heard it. So,
Well, it's funny because I'm not really ADD or ADHD or anything like that, but at the same time, the reason that I am in front at conferences and paying close attention is to avoid distractions.
you bet.
So it doesn't matter what kind of brain we have. Like, that's an important piece of growing.
And I've never been diagnosed with anything like that. And I don't take any drugs for it or anything like that. I just know, like you, if I'm on the front row, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And there's nothing distracting me, nothing pulling me away, nothing pulling my attention away. And that's where I need to be.
I always say I'm an all in or all out kind of girl.
Yeah, there you go. It's a great way to put it.
Yay, Anthony, thank you so much for the $27.99 super sticker. It's the pear character looking at himself in the mirror saying, thanks for being you, with hearts popping out of his eyes. That's awesome. I love how YouTube describes the sticker.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They are loving this conversation. I want to bring Culture Craig up here for a second, because he said, yay, own your ADHD. Thanks for sharing it and making it okay for others, especially making it okay for grown men to show vulnerability.
Look, I'm a plumber. It's so funny. We were shooting a video yesterday, and at the end, I wanted to cry during this video. It was about plumbing in India. And I didn't even ask him when we were done, hey, did I look okay or whatever? I'm sitting here watching it and trying not to choke up. And I'm like, it's a guy that he literally earns a living by climbing down in the sewer and finding stuff he can sell.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this, and I'm sitting here like, oh my God. It's like, oh. I'm like, man, this is the hardest worker in India. He can get a job doing anything, y'all. And it's just, we all have to be who we are. And I can't hide that. I can't not be it. And you know what? It is what it is. If you don't like me, okay. Sorry about that.
Are you ready to answer some questions, or did we have anything else? Yes. Ready to answer some questions?
No, I'm out of time. Gotta go. See
okay.
anything for you, Lori.
I knew that way wasn't the right answer. Kat says, if we don't have access to LinkedIn Live but want to use it to promote YouTube videos effectively on LinkedIn, how do they do that on LinkedIn?
Well, you can still do it on LinkedIn. You don't have to have the live. Remember, if you've created a YouTube video that's going to bring value to people, take that thumbnail, take a screenshot of the thumbnail, post the thumbnail. If you've built your community for the people that you're going to bring value to, for the people that could be your potential customers, or better than that could potentially introduce you to hundreds of customers. Think about it. Every real estate agent I know could introduce me to 300 or 400 customers a year that could possibly have plumbing problems. And if I'm bringing them value, that's a great way to do it. Just post that thumbnail, and you can write a little post about it, just like you would a picture or anything else. Hey guys, have you ever thought about buying a new home, or do you know anybody that has? With slab leaks and sewer problems being what they are, it's something you may not want to buy a house without looking at. And then you can put below that, link to video in the comments. Then you put the thumbnail, then you reply immediately with the link, and man, you got the video right there.
Perfect. Thank you for that advice. Impartial Geek says, do you use LinkedIn exclusively, or do you simulcast to YouTube as well when you're streaming?
Right now, everything is exclusive. It's funny because we're starting to get in Clubhouse now, and we have actually thought about. I know.
We're gonna co-host a room very soon.
I love it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Down.
I've seen you in there, and I'll tell you what. Here's how funny Clubhouse is, Lori. My first night in there, I got in a room Grant Cardone was in, and I had a question, so I raised my hand. I got pulled up to the stage. And I started talking, and when Grant gets in a room, he's got 2 or 3 of his guys with him. I'm talking to Grant, and then all of a sudden, I think it's Jared jumped in and says, look, Roger's doing exactly what Grant's talking about. Number 1, invest in yourself. Number 2, invest in social media. Number 3, invest in your business. And he talks for a couple of minutes. Grant comes back in and says, hey, I just checked you out. You're awesome. I just tweeted out people need to connect with you. It blew my mind. So
is so
social
cool.
media and engagement can be
Yes.
great for all of us.
It really can. Okay, we totally went off on a Clubhouse
Yes,
tangent,
go-
which
go
we're
ahead.
gonna we're gonna bring it back. Simulcasting. So
No,
I think
I
you were
don't.
saying.
I don't do it, but I want to.
Oh, you want to? Okay.
Yeah,
So
I've thought about it, and I've talked to you about it
Yeah.
before. I've thought about it, so I need to. I know I do.
well, you don't necessarily need to. No, like simulcasting is not always the right answer. Yeah, it gets you more numbers, but it also splits your focus, splits your audience. So it's a strategy thing. You have to decide whether it's the right strategy for you.
Well, hey, I'll tell you one thing I am going to do simulcasting. We are going to start doing our LinkedIn lives and our YouTube lives also on Clubhouse. So I can take my marketing team, make them self-moderators with me. They get the audio. So, and before I see the look on your face. Nick Nimmin did this Saturday.
Did he? Oh yeah, I saw that. That's right.
So he did his Clubhouse live while he does his live stream. He says, as soon as I'm out here, I'm jumping over onto Clubhouse exclusively.
Oh,
And
just
remember,
to keep them there. Okay.
it was 1:30 in the morning. At 2:30, he got off. Nick, D, Michael Stelzner. Michael Stelzner jumped in and pretty much ran it while Nick was driving home.
Oh, nice.
They went live on Clubhouse for almost 7 more hours.
Yeah. Wow.
What a great run.
I saw that and I didn't listen in, but I saw that he was doing it. I was busy, but like I wasn't quite sure about that. But I can, now that you're talking about like that after part, I've thought about the after party, and honestly, I've thought about doing like an after party from here over on Clubhouse for sure, but I didn't think about starting it early, starting it through the stream and then connecting over there. That's actually pretty good. But it also kind of breaks the open conversation thing that's so powerful on Clubhouse. So I'm on the fence right now. I don't know.
It's pretty neat. Anyway, next question. I'm sorry. I
next
didn't mean
question.
to derail you.
We'll have that conversation more in depth for sure.
I love it.
Consumador, I don't feel comfortable sharing where I work for security reasons. Should I hide that info or make a new LinkedIn account?
You know, if you don't want anybody to know, I would make a new account. And I don't know if it's for work reasons or what. You know, I love the fact that I started out my LinkedIn as me. It is what it is. It's Roger. It's what you get. No matter whether it's Texas Green Plumbing, the Expert Plumber, or Roger Wakefield, I kept it me from the very beginning. My YouTube channel's changed multiple times, but LinkedIn, I just stuck with me. If you're wanting to hide where you work, I would do a new channel. That way you can be all in and be you. I think that's a big deal.
Love that. I've seen you on Clubhouse, Kombucha. I love your name. That's how I was like, I love that name. So I remembered you. And yes, it's like Pavlov's dog. I'm like, ooh, let's pay attention.
I know. It went off again. Yes.
Okay. Josh, do you plan your stream schedules for each platform? How often do you go live each week?
I do. We actually try to do content calendars. Now, we hadn't really been planning LinkedIn in the past until they started letting us schedule it, which just happened a couple of weeks ago. So what we have always done on LinkedIn, literally it was, hey, what are we talking about today? And we think about what's going on here at the company, what we've talked about in the past, what we're doing on other social platforms. So that's what we've normally done. Now we're scheduling it out. So today, after the LinkedIn Live, we should have already scheduled the next one with Julie Tuesday, and we already know what we're going to be talking about. So I go live on LinkedIn on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I go live on YouTube on Monday afternoons. So, you know, that's what we've thought about, maybe branching out and multi-purposing them.
Yeah.
But I
It can
think
be
I
a
like,
lot when you're not simulcasting and like, oh man, I've got to do this and this and this and this.
But the cool thing is, and it's a good point you made, and I will probably take that to say, look, you know what, you're right. I've got different audiences on LinkedIn than I do on YouTube. So
yeah.
simulcasting may be just not a good way to do it. So thank you for your wonderful advice.
Always up for giving you advice, whether it's wonderful or not. Don't know.
There you go.
Sammy says, I thought Roger used vMix because he pulls up comments on a screen for his stream, and I know you can't do that on OBS.
We use vMix for our YouTube Live. And that is part of the big deal. So when we do YouTube Live, yes, we're on vMix. And it's funny because we started doing vMix because we wanted to do vMix call to bring other people in. And today is literally the LinkedIn Live we did today is the first time we brought anybody in. And I told Laura earlier, I had to use use Zoom to bring them in. And then we used it like another screen input.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John
Venturi.
for the super chat. Fantastic episode. Great advice. Muchly appreciated as always. And Dr. Elo is saying, this has been one of my favorite lives, Roger. This is amazing. Thank you guys for being here and listening.
Thank you for coming.
All things YouTube, Matt has a plumbing question. Which is better, PVC or ABS?
Well, I'm from Texas. We almost always use PVC. ABS is used in California, and I'm not sure why. I've only found 2 jobs in the Dallas area that had ABS, and actually one of my most popular videos on YouTube is about a plumber that poured concrete down a drain of a job that he was working on. Blows my mind. The guy needs to be tarred and feathered. I'll be nice and stop there. But anyway, it was an ABS job, and it really surprised the heck out of me.
That's interesting. So there you go, Matt. David, what's the name of that scrolling display behind Roger?
You know,
that one.
And Laura, I'm not sure what it is. It's
I'm blanking on the name too. I know it. It's the. Okay.
It's like metrics or something. Lametrics, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Lametric. I don't think it has an S on it, but Lametric. and then metric. Okay.
And if you've got a link to it, tell one of your people to put it in there, because I'll tell you what, this thing is cool. We love it.
I'm sure we can get a link, but it doesn't really matter. Lametric.
There you go. You'll find it.
Anthony, I think we kind of answered this, but if you have anything else to add to it, you can dive deeper. Anthony says, Roger, how do you keep your marketing local? Many trades have a hard time finding their wagon in this regard. How do you overcome? You spoke to that a bit, so do you have anything else to add?
Anthony, this is going to be between me and you. Please don't tell anybody else, because everybody tells me you cannot do this stuff for local. So we started doing what we call social local growth. We take a service that we do, slab leak detection. We take a city that we do it in, Richardson, Texas, and we make videos about it. We put it in the title. We put it in the description. We geotag it. We do anything and everything we can. I'm a small plumbing company for the Dallas area. We do $1.2 million a year. My competition does $70 and $80 million a year. And if you go into YouTube, man, I own it. And that makes our phone ring. And it really does. So it's a great way to do it.
Thank you for that. I'm so clipping that.
That was just for Anthony. You did not hear that, did you?
No. I'm not going to clip it and publish that out on the web or anything like that. No.
Block the Dallas area for me.
And, the singing dentist. Do you know who the singing dentist is?
I've heard of him. I've never seen him, but I've heard of him. Yes.
He's a perfect example of that as well. Like, he has a worldwide huge audience, and his business blew up locally for his dentist practice.
Now, what city is he in?
He's in like London or somewhere in the
UK. Okay.
Why?
Well, I know of whenever I left that first conference, I came here to the office for 2 days and went through notes, did research, looked you up, looked everybody up that I heard to stalk y'all to find out more. And one of the persons that I looked up talked about answer the public, where you get questions. What are the questions? Answer the people, answer the public. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah. Answer the public, I think it is, yeah.
So I found out about that, but he talked about a dentist that he did, and he said, I want you to make videos how to clean your teeth. He says, well, I don't want people to learn how to clean their teeth. I want them to come to me. He says, yeah, but if you make videos for it, they know you're the trusted advisor. You're going to be the one they come to. His business, I think in Denver, exploded because of his domain authority, people going to his website.
It's amazing. And Chocolate Johnny in Australia is another example of this, where he was big on Periscope. Like, that's where he kind of like, but he's still at it, and his business blew up. Chocolate. Like, it doesn't matter what the business is. There's a way. And it doesn't matter if it's local or not. And plus, by the way, speaking of local, you can also use ads to target local business, right? So you create content and then you use the ad system, whether on YouTube or Facebook, and you target that local audience. So you can increase that way as well.
And that's funny because people have asked me before if I do ads to either grow my channel or my company.
And you don't?
And we tried a little bit of Facebook ads at one point, but yeah, we don't do any. It's just like, you know what?
That's awesome.
They're going to find us. Just keep putting out great information. They're going to find it.
So cool. All right, 2 more questions and then I got to let you go because it's at the top of the hour. Does LinkedIn, Kat wants to know, hide links to YouTube in the main caption since you recommended the link in the comments?
You know, I don't work for LinkedIn, so I can't tell you yes, but I will tell you this, that whenever we don't put it in the main, whenever we put it down in the comments, I get a lot more views on those posts.
Okay. Awesome.
Great way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying I can see the difference.
Okay. And then one final question, and then we're going to dance this baby out. So I want everybody to put your dancing shoes on and get prepared. Bert wants to know, what is the most scariest and most nasty plumbing job you've ever done? I thought that was a perfect way to end this.
You know, I've done some nasty ones where I've hopped down in ditches that had raw sewage in it and stuff like that because it had to be done. But the nastiest, I literally got a call from another plumber to go up to Corinth, Texas, which is way outside of our service area. But he's like, Roger, you have got to see this plumbing. And I guess they had leaks under the house. So they had just taken Uponor, which is a PEX pipe, and they had piped it in, run it up, went through the side of the house. It was around below the ceiling, all through the house, catching things. And we went over and shot that video, and it blew my mind. Worst plumbing job I've ever seen, I think is what we called it. And it became one of our biggest videos in just a matter of a month or two. It's pretty wild.
That's awesome. All right. So, Roger, definitely tell them where they can find you and all the goodness that is Roger. I know everybody's like, no, keep the show going. We want more Roger.
I know, and I'm good. Laura, you go do what you got to do. I'm going to hang here and
you can
chill
totally
with your
just take it
people.
over.
Yeah, we're going to have fun. Just you know.
You know what? If you're game, you are more than welcome to come back, do a solo stream, do a co-stream, come into our streamer accelerator program. Like, they want more of you. So
no, I'd want to do it with you. Number one, you're phenomenal at what you do, and I do. I feed off you. You are, when it comes to this stuff, you are one of the smartest people I know. No female involved. You understand this, and I love talking to you because when I have questions, man, you're like, oh my gosh, this, and you just know it. So that's so cool.
How did this go from me asking you to pitch yourself and you turn like you talk about me? Pitch yourself. Tell them where they can find you, Roger.
I'm Roger Wakefield. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm on YouTube under Roger Wakefield. I'm on Clubhouse under Roger Wakefield. You can also go to rogerwakefield.com and learn all about me and maybe hear about a new television show I may have coming up or something like that.
Whoa, what?
See, we didn't even get that far, did we?
What?
I have an entertainment manager out of Hollywood, and
of course you do.
It kind of the world is changing. What can I tell you?
Can we know more, or we have to wait?
Well, we're the show's not decided yet. We've talked 2 or 3 different ideas, and there's some really cool things coming out of it.
That is freaking awesome. I cannot wait to hear more.
Hollywood.
All right, ready to dance this baby out, Roger?
Absolutely.
All right, put those dancing shoes on, community. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody, reach out to Roger and tell him how awesome he is, what value he gave you. I would love for you to send him just tons of messages privately. Well, however, his LinkedIn, like don't like find his house address or anything.
Oh, flood me. It really don't matter. I don't care.
Do it the appropriate ways. All right. Thank you guys so much. And it is time to dance. Bye, Roger.
Bye, Laura. Thank you.
You're dancing.